You're watching the ABC 17 News Special, Hunger at Home.
About 1 in 5 Missourians doesn't know where their next meal is coming from, and the need continues to grow. Thank you for joining us for our ABC 17 News Special, Hunger at Home. I'm Joey Parker.
And I'm Marissa Holloway. The Food Bank for Central and Northeast Missouri is helping to feed those in need and even trying to change those numbers for the better. And in case you don't know how this important and impressive operation works, tonight we're taking you inside. The purpose?
Just to feed hungry people, to feed those people that are in need.
Is as simple as that. But the process is a lot more complicated.
It is a big operation. Our budget is nearly $5 million for expenses, and therefore we need about $5 million in revenue.
So what does it take to make it run? 54 full-time employees.
And you may bring as many boxes as you would like.
44,000 volunteers.
We have a fleet of 22 different vehicles, semi-trucks, trailers, trucks, mobile pantries, and vehicles. And so it takes a lot for the cost of those vehicles to be on the road.
We have huge pallets that show up every day, and our drivers are going to pick things up. We have people bringing things here, and it's just a nonstop movement to get food here to help people in the community.
Those trucks deliver food to nearly 140 partner agencies throughout mid-Missouri where people can go for a meal.
If you could think of the food bank being like a bank and our partner agencies being like the ATM.
This 65,000 square foot bank is full of food. It turns over an average of 26 times in just a year.
All of the pallets that you see here in our warehouse are given to us by different organizations around the country.
Last year, the food bank gave out more than 33 million pounds of food. And just to give you an idea, here's 615 pounds of just cereal.
This year, our goal is to distribute 30 million pounds of food, which I know we will easily do.
This will help feed more than 114,000 people in 32 counties in mid-Missouri.
Anytime we have a food drive or a fund drive, whatever community we're in at that particular time, that is where that food stays, right in the community where it's coming from.
As mentioned, it costs $5 million to run.
Well, we do have generous donors, for sure. About 44% of our contributions come from donations.
Some of that is from members of the community and from large companies.
Kraft Foods is a big one that supports us, and Walmart is also another huge one.
The other money comes from fundraising, grants, and government subsidies. The food bank wants to remind everyone.
Again, people don't know the face of hunger. It could be you, it could be me, it could be a neighbor.
The face of hunger could even be students. Some students rely on meals at school, and now that it's summertime and school's out, there's a growing need to feed kids from low-income households.
ABC 17's Jillian Fertig has a breakdown of the summer feeding program, where children can go get a healthy meal and how the community can help.
The program is important because when school stops for the summertime, the kids lose access to the school lunches that they had been receiving all year long. So we step in to fill that gap.
Stacy Brown heads up the Food for Kids program each summer for Food Bank for Central and Northeast Missouri. She says just last summer, the program fed over 5,000 kids. And in Columbia alone this year, they expect to feed between 100 and 150 kids each week.
So we have 5 sites this year. We have 4 park sites. We have Bear Creek Park, we have Oakland Park, we have Agan Street, and we have Indian Hills. And our 5th site is at the Fire Station number 1 on St. Charles Road.
Brown says volunteers will be at the sites from noon to 1 Monday through Friday.
So you guys have partnered with the City of Columbia this year. Tell me a little bit about that.
We've made awesome partners with them. They have agreed to let us use 4 of their park shelters every day for our program without charge.
Brown says the program also has an extra perk this year.
The city has also given us pool passes to hand out to the kids during the program, kind of as an incentive to keep them coming back every day.
This means kids can go use the pools free of charge after they leave the feeding site. Brown says anyone interested in volunteering for this program should contact the food bank.
To help fight hunger across mid-Missouri, it takes thousands of volunteers.
And coming up, we're taking a closer look at the people who make it all possible. The entire company of Google employs around 53,000 people.
And just to give you an idea of how big of an operation the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri runs, it has 44,000 people working right here. 54 of those are full-time employees. The rest are volunteers. And here's a highlight of the people that keep the place running.
He's here every single morning, Monday through Friday.
Marion Ballard is one of the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri's most dedicated volunteers.
He's kind of the role model for us all.
At 90 years old, volunteering keeps him feeling young.
You got to do something to stay alive, and I think that's part of it, being active.
He and his wife have been coming in for the last 10 years.
One of the nice things, you meet new people. It's not the same people every day.
These are all my friends, the homies.
I mean, literally, you couldn't get the work done unless you had people willing to come in and donate their time and their labor.
And during the summertime, it's tougher to keep a steady flow of volunteers.
So this is a period when an awful lot of people are vacationing or catching up with the things to do in the rest of their lives, and the volunteering at the food bank has really fallen off pretty dramatically for the last couple of weeks.
If you're thinking about getting involved and volunteering your time, the good news, the food bank is flexible.
Anybody who has, as much or as little as, 2 hours in a day to commit would be welcome.
And there's even a late evening shift for those who don't have any free time during the day. Volunteers can come in once a day, once a week, or even once a month, whatever they can do.
I can't imagine that there'd be any bad candidates, really.
If you're still not sure if you want to volunteer,
well, I'd tell them to get down here and try it out.
It's better than sitting at home watching TV, the same show over and over again. If you can help, I think you should help if you have a couple hours out of the day.
What you get for doing this sort of work is, more than anything, I think, a sense of satisfaction. A feeling that you're actually helping people to meet the most basic need of all, which is for nourishment.
if you want to get involved, you can call, email, or visit the food bank on Vandiver Drive.
And volunteerism doesn't stop at the food bank. Remember, trucks leave here every day to deliver food to agencies all across mid-Missouri.
ABC 17's Daniel Wynn got the chance to spend the day with volunteers at 2 different agencies, and he discovered that it doesn't matter how young or old you are, just that you want to give.
I have been blessed in my lifetime. I ask everybody when they come through here to smile, because when you smile, you feel good.
Because I like working with the people.
All good reasons to be volunteering and giving back to their communities. From the Samaritan Center in Jefferson City to the Central Pantry in Columbia, volunteers are the lifeblood of the operations. Volunteers like Diana Bose spend 3 days per week, not because she has to, but because she wants to.
I love people. I love to see their faces, and especially the kids.
Knowing firsthand how tough times can be, the time she spends here every week is her time, a time she can enjoy people.
Did you just wake up one day and say, I want to volunteer?
Actually, no. I think that as a child, my mother was on welfare. And so I feel like I need to give back to the community because they helped me when I was a child.
And it was that humble upbringing, she tells me, she remembers every day when she sees kids here. Volunteering isn't just therapeutic for her, it's a way for her to also educate others.
I had one little boy, he came up and he said, "What is that on your arm?" And I have, a disease that my blood vessels come to the surface. And I explained it to him, and that's what part of this is too, is that I get to teach children about certain diseases. They come and ask, what happened here? Well, I tell them I have a CPAP that I sleep with. And they say, oh, really? And they get excited. Well, does it hurt? And they start asking questions. So it's an educational thing also.
Time and time again, I've heard volunteers say the kids keep them coming back. Judy Larson started volunteering here after a speeding ticket 2 years ago and has been coming back ever since.
Some of the kids come in here and they're cranky, and I'll go up to them and I'll go, hi, how are you? And they'll just sit there and look at me. They're kind of bashful at first, but then they'll start talking and then they'll start smiling. Now when they come in here every month, they'll come up and give me a hug and they'll go, I love you. Some of the kids I see every month, some I don't, but when they do come back, they recognize me. Hey, this lady It helps people.
At the Samaritan Center in Jefferson City, 91-year-old Julia Strickers has been driving 25 miles twice a week to volunteer for the past 15 years.
When you have association with people, you appreciate that. My husband died in '96, and so other than a little dog, I don't have any other companion.
And whether it's the Samaritan Center in Jefferson City or the Central Pantry in Columbia, the volunteers all have one thing in common: complete dedication.
How long do you plan on doing it?
For as long as God let me do it.
A couple of hours. What is that? 3 times a week? It's nothing. You can do that no matter how old you are.
That was ABC 17's Daniel Wynn reporting. And despite more than 300 volunteers, the Samaritan Center says it can always use more.
And the food bank is taking steps to make sure that people aren't just getting fed, but getting essential nutrients.
Find out how the organization is able to offer healthy options here in mid-Missouri next. Along with helping to fill the refrigerators and pantries of those in need, the food bank also works to make sure that food is nutritious.
And some people might be surprised to find out how many options there are for fresh produce at the food bank.
ABC 17's Christy Reeder has more from health experts on why it's so important, and will tell you how you can help in the effort.
This is the watermelon. This just came in this morning. This is some fresh apples, but that's fresh grapes.
As food solicitor, it's Don Moore's goal to make sure there are plenty of options at the food bank.
We get a lot of frozen fruits and vegetables, and this is where we store it.
While the push to go healthy has really taken off in the last decade or so, here at the food bank, it's always been a goal.
I can't say that we're pushing any harder for produce now than we ever have, because we've always made produce a priority.
An apple or a mango can be a great after-school snack option for kids, and that's why produce is a big part of the food that they offer for families here at the food bank. In fact, they've had around 2.4 million pounds of produce come through the food bank so far this year. And health experts like Cassie McClellan, a registered dietitian at Hy-Vee, say these options are crucial.
Fruits and vegetables are filled with all kinds of vitamins and other nutrients that help to prevent diseases, and they also have high amounts of fiber, which the typical American doesn't get enough fiber.
But getting all those nutrients also comes down to how people are preparing their meals. The food bank understands this and works to teach clients how to cook healthy.
There's a nutrition program, I think, at the University of Missouri that meets at the pantry periodically when school's in session, and they actually prepare recipes from donated products so they can show the clients how to cook them.
While the health benefits are important, buying fresh can also mean forking over a lot of money. So when it comes to donating, the food bank would rather you let them find the deals on produce and just give them a cash donation to make it happen.
We're bringing in a load of cantaloupe, and we'll end up paying about 20 cents a pound for those cantaloupe. So if you're going to go to the grocery store and buy a cantaloupe to donate to the food bank, you're not getting it as cheaply as we are.
While Moore always strives to find healthy options to stock the shelves, he also doesn't turn away any food.
If we had a donor right across the street with a truckload of cookies or a truckload of potato chips, I'd go get them, because that's something we can do.
And maybe the only option to feed a hungry kid. In Columbia, Christy Reeder, ABC 17 News.
The food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri serves 32 counties. 28 of them use the Buddy Pack program.
ABC 17's Sherry Burris shows us how they use this to feed families and how one local school is using it to feed theirs.
It makes me feel good that we can be a part of aiding a family and a student.
Tara Collier is the Buddy Pack coordinator at Alpha Hart Elementary School. She tells me every week during the school year, she gets that feeling because she helps prepare a Buddy Pack, a snack bag filled with 2 meals, breakfast items, and snacks like peanut butter and granola bars for students to take home every weekend or holiday during the school year.
The Buddy Packs is a supplement to their regular groceries.
Stacy Brown is the children's program coordinator for the food bank. She explains how the Buddy Packs are passed out.
On a Friday, when the Buddy Packs are being handed out, we ask that the Buddy Packs go right into the child's own backpack.
Right now, more than 7,000 students at 153 schools receive Buddy Packs. Brown says helping out the families is what this program is all about.
During times whenever school lunches and school breakfasts are not available, it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes for them to be able to get their kids some proper nutrition. So that's where the Buddy Packs come in. We know that if we can give them a little bit of something to help them get through the weekends, then they can come back to school on Monday full, not hungry, and ready to learn.
In Boone County, more than 6.8 million pounds of items were given out. In Cole County, more than 1.4 million were distributed. How does that make you feel, just hearing that there's that many children and families in need?
It tells me that the program is definitely something that's needed.
And just at Alpha Heart, almost 300 students took home Buddy Packs this past year.
It just kind of opens my eye to the need in Mid-Missouri of what families need to help supplement them on a weekly basis.
In Columbia, Sherry Burris, ABC 17 News.
We'd love to put ourselves out of business, but we also recognize that that's just not the reality in today's day and age.
We're visiting with the executive director for a look at the food bank's future next.
We've heard the staggering number of people in need. There's not a county in our state nor our country that doesn't have people who are food insecure.
Now, the executive director of the food bank, Lindsay Young Lopez, tells us what it's going to take to keep serving the people of Central and Northeast Missouri.
So 1 in 5 people are considered hungry. That is a statistic that holds across the country, but that is also true of our community right here in our backyard. So 20% of people, I mean, when you think about that, that really is staggering. And I also put it in terms of the perspective that every day you're interacting with someone potentially who falls into that statistic of being hungry. That might be the person who checks you out at the grocery store. It might be a coworker, it might be a friend, and you just may not be aware that there is that need that exists.
Before you took this job, did you understand what you were getting involved with?
No, not in the least. You know, the food bank is an organization that I always held in a high regard and knew did really incredibly important things for our community. There are always needs. I mentioned the fact that right now we're working on replacing a roof. Well, that means that we have a list of capital improvement projects that we need to complete, and those capital projects total over $360,000, with the roof being the bulk of the expense. So we are fortunate that we have generous partners who are willing to invest in us and help us with those capital projects, but we still are seeking additional funding to be able to achieve what we need to. I would mention the fact that we have 22 vehicles in our fleet, and we have a couple of trucks that will need to be replaced at some point. One of them that we're fond of here, we call it the Grape Ape, because it's this purple semi. But the Grape Ape is unfortunately aging, and at some point in the near future will need to be replaced. We're looking at needing to replace a box truck too, and both of those do not come inexpensively, so we'll be seeking funding for those things as well. And then just general operating expenses. I think it's important to note that we are the only food bank in the state of Missouri that charges absolutely nothing for the food that we distribute. That's something we're very proud of, but that means that we are operating on resources that are very lean. And so it's vitally important that we seek philanthropic partnerships and that we continue to thank those people who are so gracious in order to give us those resources.
We hope you learned something new about the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri throughout this special, but there's still something we haven't told you about yet, how you can help.
And here's how you can help make a difference.
There are a few different ways you can be involved in getting this food to the people that need it. Number 1, starting a food drive or donating food.
We've had little kids who, instead of having presents at their birthday parties, have people bring food, and then they bring and donate the food to the food bank.
And the food bank says it wants to make as little work as it can for you if you want to plan a drive.
We will work with you if you have an idea or an interest that you specifically want to do around a fundraiser or a food drive.
Number 2, donate cash. $10 can buy 150 pounds of food. That's all of this.
You can go online to sharefoodbringhope.org and always make an online gift. But then we also have different ways you can give monthly. We can set up a credit card gift so that each month at the same time a certain amount is deducted.
Or you can donate in someone's honor. Remember 90-year-old Marion Ballard from earlier? Well, a donor gave $10,000 in his name for being such a dedicated volunteer.
So some other ways that people can help out, you can, if you have a loved one that's passed away, we've had people set up memorial gifts to honor them.
Number 3, donate supplies.
We're always looking for vehicles to help, trucks to help us deliver the food and bring it back and forth to our agencies and to pick up at food drives.
And number 4, donate your time.
I just encourage people to volunteer. Come on out to the food bank, whether it's with your family or with some classmates or some people from work, and volunteer for a couple of hours in our volunteer room and see what it's like and see how much of a difference you can make. It feels great to come here and volunteer and help out.
For more information on how you can get involved, visit our website, abc17news.com.
Thanks for joining us for our special Hunger at Home, and thanks for caring. Good night.